Hello and welcome to our podcast, Lift Me Up. My name is Valerie.
And my name is Borut.
Today, as we mentioned in our previous episode, we will talk about something interesting. And as we are recording this, we are still a few days ahead of our wedding.
Exactly 7 days.
7 days.
Yeah, literally, actually 7 days and 2 hours.
Yeah, but now when you're watching, we are already married.
No,
Yes.
this is for this week. This will be tomorrow. Come on. No, it's fine. No. Well, basically, Valerie is amazing in so many ways, but the math is not her strong side. Is that true?
Yeah, so which day is today?
I don't know, but I know that next week about this time I have to be here.
He says this as we go out, just tomorrow after we film, but we will get married next Saturday. Today is Saturday before our wedding.
On the 29th.
Yes, and we want to talk about, as you probably guessed, about marriage material. In general, what the marriage means to us, what we think that marriage brings to the life, and why some people don't want to get married, maybe even.
I don't know why people don't want to get married. But I can definitely say something about the good sides of marriage and why I want to get married.
Yeah, maybe, I would like to ask you maybe if, as a young man, you always wanted to get married, or was it something that came later in life? This the marriage in terms of what it means.
For me, it was always sure deal. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have a family with a dog and everything else like by the book. Why? But I was not even before the marriage. I want to have a stable relationship. Unfortunately, I mean, I already was married. I had like 21 years long relationship. And 10 years, after 10 years of being in a relationship, we got married. So for me, like stable relationship was always a superpower. We were talking about when we were like 20, 25. I mean, my relationship started when I was 20. So imagine like 22, 23 or so, everybody is like, oh, okay, experimenting this and that. For me, photography was really the main thing that I want to do in my life. And I don't want to jeopardize. I don't want to waste energy in a drama that follows around relationships and fleeting relationships, more or less. So that's how it was. That's how I grew up. That's how I developed myself as an adult. And this was always part of me, even after divorce. I was about 7 months single, and then I had enough. I wanted to get like in a serious relationship, which but that's 10 years ago. And now finally, after 10 years of looking, searching, and trying, I found a candidate, a victim, to get married and to be sealed with a ring and other things that goes along.
Well, maybe I can also share my point of view. I got maybe 3 periods in my life when I was a kid and before young adults, so still in teenage years. I always dreamed of a big wedding, like very classic kind of, as you mentioned, by the book. So house, dog, maybe even a cat, and maybe hamster or whatever, kids and all that. But then later, as a young adult, I actually changed my mind. I didn't want to get married. I was just like, I guess it's fine. You can just be with somebody. It's fine. And the marriage itself was not really a big, a big thing in my mind. Although I really wanted to have stable relationship. I didn't want to just date. But later on, also when I met you, I returned back to this childhood dream that, maybe this is a big value for me, a big dream or something I really want to do it in my life. Like maybe also because I was brought up in a like environment where marriage still means a lot. It means the ultimate seal, as you say, but in a positive way.
I definitely agree. Also, our generation grew up in what is it called, nuclear families.
Nuclear.
Nu- nuclear family, meaning like a very basic, but nowadays things are very different. So that's definitely true that
Yeah, I guess also the company when I was being a young adult, I was in like I had a group of friends, and later on we changed, we switched, people traveled, I traveled a lot, and maybe it influenced me a lot. Also, this lifestyle,
Yeah.
different people. And also, I was with somebody who was not really for the marriage and different values. And I think it changes you because
Definitely.
the partner definitely has a big impact of,
Huge.
yeah, I can say I'm a different person now. And
Good.
I was a different person back then, but it was appropriate for that partner, I guess.
Yeah. Tell me, who proposed for marriage? Did you between us?
Well, you proposed. Of course, that was a really nice
Surprise?
yeah, nice surprise. You prepared really well. I think a man has to do it. I mean, I'm very traditional in this sense. I mean, if a woman does it, okay. But when a man decides for this step, I really appreciate that. I think it also gives a woman, me, for example, um, a thought of security, of like, that I'm not the one who's like just trying to convince you that, yeah, let's get married. But
Yeah.
if I get this feedback from you, I know that things are really serious. It's not just a phase.
Yeah. So I must say, let's share also some back. Now let's go back to the topic of this podcast, which is marriage material. Why? Because before we started to date, it was very different when we were very different. I was hugely different when we got engaged. So, but nevertheless, before we start dating, we were very sincere with each other, and we really put all our cards. And I always had a feeling that with you, I told you like when have you expressed the idea of us dating, I said, oh, listen, I really came out of really toxic and huge, like horrible relationship, as you mentioned. Let's As you mentioned that in the previous relationship you were synchronized with a partner's energy, like that was also with me. Like I was in a past relationship, I was with a pathological liar, I would say, with a liar that really believed what she was talking. And although the evidence were showing totally different, and the skeletons of the past were keep on uh, falling out from the closet, and I thought, okay, this is it. There could not be anything more. But then, puff, again and again, like gaslighting and stuff, and I was totally crazy. And it's true that at the time when we started, just before we started to date, I said, I'm a mess. I told you that. I'm not even I'm not even R from the word ready for the relationship. It will take a long time, but nevertheless we kind of cleared our we were very honest to each other. I felt that from the start, and I told you everything that I have. I told you all my cards down, from the financial situation to my what's the word, family situation, because I have kids already, and what does that mean in a relationship, and so on. And actually, you said, okay, I accept that.
That's right.
I accept that. And so that's why, I just want to make viewers know that this was not coincidence. Like our engagement was built up to it. We kind of like we put down the stuff. We explain each other, and we like kind of like we live together, and we test each other, and we looked who will do what for who. We kind of get to know each other deeper and deeply, and then since we
The first day.
we agreed on our long-term plans, which we will not share already now, but we will eventually. We kind of said, okay, let's do it sooner than later.
Yeah, I think it was my first time since I was like dating that at the beginning I already talked these serious topics.
Yeah.
But I think it's really, now when I look back, I think it's crucial, because even if I look some shorter like periods I had with some people, everything was just, I don't know, wasting time in a way.
Yeah.
Because why can you communicate these things at the beginning, like the values, what the family situation, what are your wishes actually? Because it doesn't make sense that if somebody doesn't want kids and the other one wants kids, and then you just say, okay, let's give it a try. But it's the basic values are different.
Yeah, very, very,
Better after 3 months where this romance, I don't know, butterflies start to settle.
yeah,
Then you
definitely.
realize what you're doing.
Yeah. So I think this was like foundation of our relationship. We really were very honest to each other what we want, and is that aligned with us? Can we handle it? I told you this. Like, I must tell you, like, if I would give an advice to an adult man who had a divorce before and had kids, and I would say, with the knowledge that I have now, accept the relationship with you. I would say it's impossible to have like a classical, like a normal. Like I must, maybe I was, bad luck or anything, but I think I would, I have a friend who is also have a child, and I just told him, honestly, I think there is like really little chance that with the child that you have to take care of, that you will find a woman that will like, understand that, and she will take a role in growing up this child. And I must say, it's really like there are so many wounded princes out there, and disappointed housewives, that there not much marriage material out there. I would say among women, adult women, they all want to be me. Anyway, that's just like would be my advice to myself if I would. But luckily, by any chance, I think that what actually connect us and the life. I said it before, I will say it again, and I will say it again and again and again, that this relationship with you was for me like the life is giving me a second chance. And I think that the second chance that I've earned is basically that I was true to my values, even when it was hard, even when it was the worst period of my life. I kept myself away from all the, what's the word, intoxicating substances, from the I'm not drinking alcohol, anything. um,
That's important.
yeah
To have
so
clear mind.
yeah, so this was the only thing that I have done, like in the deepest part of my life, and the crisis. I was smoking like just cigarettes. That was like my this was like kind of like my that was like that period of my life that was part of me, just because my father was a chain smoker and I hated chain smoking. So that was the only thing that I kind of kept going, to be clear with my thoughts. And actually, when I gave up on the idea, then you show up. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, in our case, yeah, it was kind of a play of a little bit of destiny, coincidence, whatever. But definitely, first thing is that we were honest. For me, it was also, I had a couple of really deep conversations also with my friends who stood by my side, and I'm happy that they actually encouraged me to pursue that, because I was bombarded with some of the stories from the past, also from your past, but not also just from your perspective, but from perspective of your ex.
Yeah.
So that was really influencing a lot. But I know myself, I always know that if I start a project, let's call it a project, something I really think it's good for me or I want to do it, I say, okay, I will learn on the way by myself. I need to go through this by myself. Of course, I have some friends who I talk often and I get the feedback. They're very honest. Also, they tell me if something is not good for me. It's not like, yeah, everything is perfect. So I said, okay, I will be constantly with you on the phone. I mean, also with my friends. And I was updating them a little bit to see also the feedback, because I was in love. Everything was ideal about you, so the things that were not so ideal. So I'm glad that they really also mentioned me a few things I need to like watch out.
Yeah.
And I did. But at the end of the day, I think I already started to feel at the beginning that whatever we discuss, it's very honest. I didn't feel that you're pretending to be somebody else, because with the ex before you, I got constantly a feeling he's pretending to be great just for me. But whatever, some time passed and some things happened, he was a bit different in some situations. So I knew that he's acting a little bit on some cases. So that was a good start, like that. And also I think it's great that I got the support of friends, and also, as you mentioned, this thing, about accepting your kids also, in my life. I mean, of course, I love kids, but still, it's not super easy,
No, it's definitely.
very difficult also to understand. I don't have kids yet, so it's a feeling I don't have yet. It's I need to look through your perspective and accept that. But I knew at the beginning that in order to create a healthy family, healthy relationship, I need to look through your eyes also.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, it's much easier to just both start from scratch without any luggage or whatever, without any obligations. It's very easy, but still, I think we made it work.
Yeah. I'm. I want to share for viewers that the rumors that she is mentioning, from my ex, this was literally the worst that you can imagine. Like, I was accused of every single thing except physical violence, but all the rest, it was there, like cheating, gaslighting, narcissism, everything that you can click on, that was served. And the woman is quite publicly exposed, and she has followers who are believing her, and it was really, really difficult. And I knew that this is this was very difficult. But how can you convince somebody that it's not true? Like, how can you convince? Like, it's like somebody is giving you, writing shit about you, and how can you argue with that? You cannot. But I'm glad that you have made a decision by yourself, not
I really just wanted to see what's actually going on. And also, I'm glad that these rumors didn't reach me. I think they reached me when I was 3 months already with you. So I already knew a bit of you. It's not like I was reading about it and then we started to talk. This would definitely make a switch. I wouldn't even maybe contact you if I would read bad things about you.
Definitely.
So I'm glad that this didn't happen. Otherwise, it's important. We can maybe talk in some of the other episodes how social media is actually impacting,
Oh yeah.
the way of thinking, the propaganda and all that stuff. But it's a different topic.
Yeah.
Today we want to focus also of how to select a partner.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What do you think would be a good advice for somebody who's still single?
Okay, I would talk from the position of my position of a man who has a child, which was like 6 years, 5 years, 6 years, and I have to take care of him. And so basically is mission impossible almost. Like, I think that what for me, it was amazing when we had a first date, when also Leon was present. Leon is my son. He adopted you totally, like immediately, like, and he doesn't do that with anybody. So he told you this, and
He invited me to wipe his bum actually.
yeah,
On the
yeah,
toilet.
to the toilet, like,
On the first time we met.
yeah, because this was like for him really like a expression of intimacy, like, you go with me to the toilet, and yeah, not Borut, like, that's what was my job all the time. But now Valerie goes. And actually, your grandmother was adopt lots of kids. Can you tell that story?
Foster parent, yeah, she already had 4 kids on her own, but she was widowed very young. The youngest son was, I think, 2 years old when the father died. I mean, her husband, my grandfather, he was in a motorcycle accident, actually. So she was suddenly left with 4 kids, young kids, and a big farm. But she really loved family, a big family. She actually wanted to have more kids also with my grandfather. But then, when the two of the oldest were teenagers, she decided to become a foster parent, and she constantly had at least 3 kids at home with really problematic families, and they were usually from 3 to like 10-year-old. Couple of them lived with her many years, but some of them like change every 2 years because maybe the situation with their biological parents came better. Some of them used drugs and then they cleared up themselves. And she was really natural with them, with these 7 kids. She included them in every chore. Like, if you came to her farm, you saw like 4-year-olds standing on a bench and cooking, and she just didn't really bother if some put some tantrums. She was like, okay, now you grab this, and we start doing things. And then the kids, when they see that they don't get any reaction with drama, they just accept the way that, yeah, we should work. So everybody really worked. Like, I also, when I was with her on the weekends, even I remember my first memories. I was milking the cows, like putting the cow shit away, all that, this little shovel. So it was really nice how she had this feeling for kids and including them,
Yeah.
and learning responsibilities also.
Yeah. And without a doubt, this experience of your life is present also today in our relationship with Leon, my biological, and our son, our
Yeah, I learned through that of course you can really be a good foster parent or a role model for kids if you can accept any kid. Of course, some live in really difficult family situations or even lose their parents, and I don't see any reason to accept another child into the family. Even I would be open for like adopting or anything. I don't have a problem with that. But I know that no, this is not a common thing. Many women or men even, maybe that's even more difficult. I don't know. Okay, I look from perspective of a woman, and I know that they wouldn't accept just random kids,
yeah,
non-biological.
yeah. So
It's important.
we started to talk about what is the right marriage material. So
How to
we man like, for me, like, this was crucial about relationship of my son with a partner, or with a wife to be. So is one thing. Second thing, like, what I've learned is ask. I have learned that um, I had never. It took me a really long time to realize when I'm gaslighted. I know a man we don't, like, I was always being told that it's my fault for everything. And I took that, internalized that. And it took me a long, long time to actually realize, hey, wait a minute, like, anyway, so I would say like this. If I would give myself advice, I would say, okay, first of all, like, red flags. One of them is also, what is their relationship with the family, with her mother or father, if she's like in a constant fighting mode, you know that will be like the fall of my previous marriage was literally a copy paste of her um, of her family that she grew up in. I just told her, listen, you're copying everything that you have seen in your own childhood. I will not do that. I will not play that. And it was just too strong. So that's one of the things that's really taken care of, that, I mean, it's not everybody is the same, but I would definitely give much more attention to that. What would you advise?
Yeah, definitely the family dynamics and relationship. And also, I mean, sometimes of course you not sometimes, you cannot choose the family you were brought up. But even though if the family is like completely non-functional, if the person is aware of that, and if you deal with that and you start to somehow work on yourself, you can, of course, you're not broken forever. So that's still a thing. But if the person is just saying bad things about others, like, oh, this my family is blah blah blah, and they don't want to even bother with that, that's a red flag for me, because
Yeah.
you see that this person is not ready to be like to develop, to go over this trauma from the past. That's one thing. But then also, for me personally, it's a big value. I mean, like a foundation to have a big family. So I also like that you have a good relationship with the family, that you like to spend time with them. Because, yeah, from my experience, my ex, he didn't even talk with his parents. So then he couldn't understand why I want to hang out with my parents. And he was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to visit. Why don't we go just like hiking somewhere every weekend? We don't want to waste time with your family. And I was shocked, because I like to spend time also with my relatives. Not every day, but like if there's a family picnic gathering, I think it's important. So in this case, it's almost impossible that things work out.
And if you would have a child with this person, it would definitely the same dynamic would continue. Definitely, he and
Maybe he would even say, if I would take this child to like my parents to like to visit, maybe he would just say, no, we will hire nanny. We don't want to be
and
with
that
the
would
child. That's like,
and that would cause such a huge tension in your life and in your relationship and so on. It will really brought a lot of weight
yes.
from who you are and what you strive for.
Yeah, I doesn't say, I mean, I don't mean it's wrong, because maybe if I would be a different person, if family values were not a thing for
Yeah,
me,
maybe that will be perfect.
perfect if this kind of partner exists. We both don't like our relatives. Let's just be alone and maybe just hang out with friends. That's great, but it needs to be compatible.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And then also really spend some time, like maybe traveling or in some stressful situation, because in the stress and you can actually meet, I mean, see who's the other person.
That's true. Like I was just talking with my friend, the guy from Italy, and he had some issues with his girlfriend. He didn't know if he should continue, and I asked him, is it always all your fault? Is Yes, should do could she do this, instead of you, like, because you have a big job and you have to do this. Yes, so definitely she could, but she doesn't want to, and it's always your fault. Is that true? Yeah, and she always makes you small. I said, that's absolutely true. I said, listen, just don't waste time anymore. Just run. Okay, Valerie, we talked a lot about the shining stuff that we had, but we also had some challenges in our relationship. But could you tell us how do you how what role does that play in a marriage?
Yeah, I think all the challenges we already faced on the way of like building a relationship taught me that maybe, I don't know if I read this somewhere or I just suddenly realized that I constantly need to remind myself that we are a team. And even though if we are like in an argument or we have different views on something, of course, there's this time of emotion, strong emotion, which comes immediately. But that's why I always try to take some time to process and then remind myself, okay, we are a team. We need to find like a middle way of that. But through all those arguments and whatever, it's not many. We're not arguing all the time, of course, but I think we constantly find balance that we both enjoy, and that at the end of the day, we remind each other that we want to go in the same direction,
Yeah.
not walking randomly and just living together.
I always imagine that, when two rocks collide, and let's say rocks are, challenges like ego, can actually melt and can actually merge together, like I think that like welding, like the part when it's welded together is actually stronger than it was before, so I think that with you we had some challenges in our relationship, but every time I felt more connected with you and more I trust you more. I know that I came up, I did my best in a sense of reflecting that with apology, or maybe coming back to the issue and explaining how could be better explained, and how I take my part of responsibility for not being, I don't know, clear, or maybe too impatient or whatever, but basically this on bottom line is that this experience made us stronger, and we felt better.
Yeah, and of course, it's not who is guilty, because we are different people at the end of the day. We have different like experiences in our life, and maybe some things trigger in somebody something that we realize later what happened. But yeah, as you mentioned, it's important to learn how to communicate that later, because if something happens and both are full of energy with different thoughts, and later on we can talk about it, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Good.
So now, before the marriage, I think we also focused on the things that will happen after the marriage.
Yep.
I think it's not just okay, we get married and that's it, but this is just the beginning. We have new plans, so many things we already talk about, and I'm excited for that. When I wake up, I wake up with really always with some positive energy, with motivation, not just about my career and work, but also this gives me pleasure to wake up in the morning and start the
likewise.
day. Yeah,
Likewise. Good. Thank you so much. Well, maybe we could just say, like, dating adult in an adult era is really difficult because we all have our baggage, and all we have. So it's much more difficult, but on the end of the day, if you're honest with yourself, who you are and what your needs are, and if you're honest with the other, and say, okay, this is, I can live with that. I can live with that. I can expect that. I can and and the communication is likewise. It's much easier if you come in peace with that. The progress is much faster. The progress is much faster. You don't need to wait 10 years. You can actually literally, if you're trusting and loving, and if you see that we are both strong and clear to face the challenges together, and not and learn this ABC of the relationship, if this can be bridged, then being adult and having a relationship, getting married in an adult era, has a lot of positive effects, has a lot of positive characteristics, and it's in many ways it might be easier.
And I also just wanted to add, we talked a lot in this episode about how it's important to communicate goals and all that in advance. But what I also really appreciate, and I think it's also the main ingredient of every relationship, is like some romance, some butterflies. You can always take some surprises. I'm really always so like full of hearts and butterflies when you bring me flowers or open the car doors or all that. That's something to cherish. And also, if you're maybe 20 years already married, I think to surprise your partner both ways, not just men to women, I think that's a nice thing, because then you show that you it's not just somebody who's living with you. It's not a roommate situation, but it's actually a partner thing.
Yeah, I think it's the best time that I invested in Valerie is when I give her massages, more or less whole day, every day, not whole day, but every day. Sometimes when she wasn't feeling well, even like in the morning, like foot massage, just to get get blood running and go on.
That's a good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Physical touch is important as well.
for many, for us, it's crucial. So that's how it is.
So yeah, thank you for listening. Stay tuned, because next week we are getting married. So in the next episode, I guess we will be
Married. Oh,
subscribe, leave us a comment, and also check out in the description the website of Borut and her studio. So if you're interested into classic analog photography, I think you're there for
and
some
you can send flowers to this address, to this address and the cards. Bye bye.